Hi, how y'all doing? September the 17th, 2025 is Wednesday. Here in Ontario, Canada, woke up to a blue sky with white lines running through it, clouds, cleanup trails, right? So I tossed and turned all night and dreamt all night. The same dream kept on reoccurring all night long. I just can't put my finger on it. It was like finding the balance between something. It was a tool or something. It was long and there was a kind of triangle thing, round triangle thing on each end, right? And I had to keep it in the middle. So I am balanced. The number 44 follows me wherever I go. I spoke on this before. I add up my telephone number, it comes to 44. I add up my social insurance number, it comes to 44. I add up my driver's license number, it comes to 44. I see 44 all the time and 144 all the time. It's been happening for the last 5 years, right? So yeah, I slept, but a lot of waking up and tossing and turning, right? I watched the Schuman report on Facebook and it said that that was the thing, that I'm in sync with the energies, right? So, went to the chiropractor, had a shower, did my hair, went to the chiropractor in the Rise. Um, I told him about my download, about the planets are within us, right? And he totally got it. He was like, I get it. He says, it's deep. I was like, I know, right? Because I said, if we're made in the, how's that go again? In their Bible. We're all made in the image of the God, right? Well, the God is the universe. So I said, we're a universe too, because we're made in the image, right? And the planets are within us. I said, I looked up Mercury. What part of the body is Mercury? And I said, the hair, the skin, the gallbladder. He was like, really? I was like, yeah. I said, I didn't do the other planets yet, though. He says, I'm gonna look at that. He says, it makes sense to me, right? He didn't get the thing, so he's awake. Well, I've been waking him up for the last 5 years, right? And so he said it will help him. He can use it with his patients, right? The people that come see him. He said he wants to figure out what planet rules the bones and the muscle and the fascia, the tendons, stuff like this. I said, yeah, why not? And it could help you with your practice because he's a healer. He wants to heal people, right? So he got some wicked cracks out of me today. I didn't realize I was so out of shape. He was like, you're so tight, right? My right side. And he did a lot of work on me today. He totally got what I was talking about. And he's going to look into it, right? He's going to look it up himself. And then I told him, I know who I am. And he said, who? And I said, I'm an oracle. And he looked at me and he says, I said, do you know what an oracle is? What it does? What she does? He was like, yeah. He says, you give us like clues. You don't tell us the answer, but you give us enough information that it awakens something in us so that we can find the truth. I was like, yeah, right. He says, I can see that. I said, that's why Source sent me to you, right? And he said, yeah, I get it. I said, who are you? And he says, I'm not sure. I said, well, that's what you need to find out now is who are you, right? And he said, yeah. So I'm always grateful that he resonates with me. I told him the vax don't resonate with me. Like, they don't hear me. He says, no, they wouldn't. It's been cut off. I said, yeah, I know, but the unvax, they hear me, right? And he said, yeah. So it was nice confirmation. The Schuman is at 17 today. I've been noticing that a lot lately. That the Schuman is either what the temperature is or what the date is. So I'm not sure what the coalition is with that, right? Why it's like that. But I noticed that nothing's a coincidence. So it's a synchronicity of some sort. 17 is Q. It's also my birthday, right? So, strange. Temperature here is 26 today. I guess this is our Indian summer, so they call it, right? I was watching a video yesterday too. I think it was Jared Boosters. And it was it yesterday, the day before? It don't matter, right? And he was showing Canada before, or in the 1800s, the very first photographs that have been archived, right? And he says, if it's a new territory or a new country, he says, where do all these old buildings come from? They're all over, right? And I was like, yeah, they ruined a lot of stuff. They destroyed a lot of stuff. But there's lots of buildings that look like the Parliament buildings in the realm, right? Great big, huge hotels that are really old, but they say they were founded. That means they were found, okay? So yeah, I'm feeling good today. A lot of the ickiness that I had the last couple of days has gone away. So I said to the chiropractor, I said, now that we know that we're a universe, right? And the planets are inside of us, we have to learn how to use them. I said, not rule, because that's what they do. I don't like that word, right? I said, he says, did you see? I was talking to him about the eclipses. He said, the one with the red moon. I said, yeah, but I didn't see no red moon. And he was like, no, neither did I. I said, but they tell you what they want you to see, right? What they want you to manifest, because they can't teach you, can't manifest anything. So they have to put it into your mind, make you think on it, so that you manifest it. So I said, because we're the co-creators, right? What we believe, we make real. I said, so we have to learn how to control our own planets, use our own planets, so they can't use it against us. And he said, yeah. He says, it sounds like a really good thing. I said, I know, right? I'm just not sure how to do it yet. So it was the download I got the other day. He was like, wow, right? So yeah, they just used Black Moon Lilith against us. I think that's why I was feeling so icky, you know, according to astrology and stuff like that. They use it against us, use it to control us, to put the energies into our planets to affect us the way they want to affect us, right? So how do we work with that? How do we take back our control? If you have an idea, put it in my comments. I'd like to know, right? All right. Every day I have more wisdom than the day before. Every day I know my true self more than the day before. And every day I have more to be grateful for. I have more gratitude than the day before. And I love you all as consciousness. Enjoy this night or day. Okay? Okay. Bye.